By now, most of you, if not all of you, have probably saw the Xbox podcast where they talked about, the future and et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, there's a lot more there than meets the eye. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there's going to be much that us gamers are going to be able to do about it. And, listen, at the end of the day, maybe a lot of you are okay with that. Maybe a lot of you are just perfectly fine with that. And that's, that's up to each and every one of us to decide how we feel about this stuff, right? I'm going to just be honest about it. For me personally, I don't like the idea that Xbox is putting games on PlayStation. It seems very desperate. It seems very kind of just odd to me, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, Microsoft is going to do what they want to do, and a lot of people were relieved that it was 4 games, and, the 4 games that were announced or what have you were, well, they didn't actually give them, but it turns out, according to multiple in-source leaks and things like that, that it is, in fact, a situation where it's Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Grounded, and Sea of Thieves. Now, that's a weird lineup to me because I think Pentiment I can see why it scored highly, but I don't think that's going to resonate with gamers. I think Hi-Fi Rush is awesome, but I also think it's very niche, a rhythm action game. People didn't even hardly play it when it's part of their Game Pass subscription. I'm not sure people are going to want to pay $30 for it elsewhere. That's just my opinion. I think it's a great game, but I just think that it's a niche title. Same thing with Grounded. I've put hundreds of hours into Grounded. I think it's a good game, but I don't think that it's realistically a game that's going to do great on console. I think, those like survival type games tend to do well on PC. Sea of Thieves, who knows? I haven't played Sea of Thieves in a while, but that game has a steep learning curve. And so, and like crossplay enabled and things like that. So you have people kind of just jump into a 6-year-old game, not knowing what to do. They're going to get their asses handed to them. And so, yeah, I think that's going to be interesting. But, people were busy breathing their sigh of relief, and then, this kind of came out that Xbox has reportedly considered or is considering releasing Flight Simulator and the next Doom on rival consoles as well. According to this, Xbox has reportedly weighed up the idea of releasing Microsoft Flight Simulator and the next Doom game for rival consoles. That's according to The Verge, which also corroborated previous claims that Gears of War has also been considered for release on non-Xbox platforms too. It reports that the final decisions haven't been made on these games, but that they could one day follow in the footsteps of other first-party Xbox titles headed to Sony and or Nintendo platforms. Following weeks of speculation, Microsoft delivered an Xbox business update on Thursday, which addressed claims that the company has been exploring the possibility of bringing its games to PlayStation and Switch. It confirmed plans to release 4 unnamed Xbox exclusive to console platforms, which are believed to be Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, as well as Grounded. While Xbox boss Phil Spencer said that Starfield and Indiana Jones, titles previously reported to be under consideration for PS5, would not be going multi-platform at this time, he also told The Verge that, I quote, "I don't think we should, as an industry, ever rule out a game going to any other platform. To ensure long-term success for both Xbox and the industry as a whole, we must continue to evolve," according to Xbox in a statement. "Today we announced that we will expand the communities we reach. We are currently in the process of bringing 4 Xbox games to other platforms. These are titles which have been available to Xbox players for at least a year, including hidden gems that deserve to be experienced more widely, and live service games whose communities will benefit from welcoming even more players. We will share more details on these titles soon." It also continued, "By bringing these games to more players, we not only expand the reach and impact of these titles, but this will allow us to invest in either future versions of these games or elsewhere in our first-party portfolio. There is no fundamental change to our approach of exclusivity." Well, I think there at least is some fundamental change, because you weren't putting Sea of Thieves and Xbox Game Studios games on PlayStation before. So, that's a huge fundamental shift. And the contradictions are weird to me. You know what I mean? It's because I like Xbox, and I like Xbox so much, it's hard to even explain to you guys, which is why I'm so passionate about this stuff and so frustrated, because it just seems so ignorant to think that you can put your exclusives on other platforms, and yet, you think you're going to be able to remain relevant in the hardware space, right? It's so weird. I don't get it. I don't understand why they could be thinking this. Nobody else is going to do this. Nobody is going to follow your lead, Microsoft. Nintendo's not going to start putting Zelda on Xbox. Sony's not going to put God of War on Xbox. This stuff is just not going to happen. So I don't understand why you're taking the first step. Like Phil later is like port begging for Helldivers 2 in an interview, and he's like, I don't understand who this is good for by not having this game on Xbox. Well, it's good for PlayStation, Phil, and they're in the business of doing things good for PlayStation. That's why, like, try it sometime, man. Try doing something good for Xbox one time, right? Because I can tell you this much right now. The shit will hit the fan the minute one of these Xbox games performs better on PlayStation. You know, they got the haptic feedback, or maybe Hi-Fi Rush gets a physical release, which we didn't get. Obviously, the PS5 Pro is coming out. Perhaps they get better performance, better frame rate, better this, better that. It's like sort of ridiculous to me that this should even be a thing. I mean, you already look at it, Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo perform best on PlayStation 5. So, again, why on earth, like, Gears of War to me is Xbox, and you have Doom. Like, that could be a huge thing to get people on, they could have people on the Xbox side there, Like, I don't understand why they would do that, Like, what do you guys think, though? Like, do you guys expect more games to go? Do you guys not expect it? I'm just very curious to hear what you guys think, because, at the end of the day, I saw so many people just, woo, that it's kind of funny to me that, at the very least, Microsoft is going to consider, and maybe they considered all their games, and that's why the rumors got out the way that it did. I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know 100% the truth, but, again, we'll have to wait and see, I think, but here's the problem, like this June showcase, which they confirmed, and they said, hey, we're going to have 10 big Xbox releases this year, blah, blah, blah. I think it takes away from it, right? And I've mentioned this in a couple other videos. Blade was an announcement at the Game Awards. Should have been a huge win for Xbox, but what was literally everyone talking about was, hey, is this game releasing on PlayStation? Right? Because they're very confusing. Even the podcast that they did yesterday was very confusing, because what was supposed to be a show to alleviate fears and this and that, you literally had Phil contradict himself in an interview after that podcast, right? So people were posting that. Like, during the interview, he's like, Starfield, Indiana Jones aren't going to PlayStation. And then in an interview after it, he's like, well, never say never, right? Like, that's the things that really, I think, aggravate and annoy Xbox fans, right? Like, particularly me. I don't understand how you can be so blasé, like, just wishy-washy. I don't understand it. I don't. As a fan, I'm trying my best, but who does this help by putting your exclusives that differentiate your console on the competing platform that is literally trying to kill your platform? Let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Crap Gamer out.